restore a classic car. How mad would I have to be to take on restoring an E-Type?
You'd need a straitjacket.
So on to Series 1, it's got to be a 4.2 litre and it's got to be a roadster. Oh, yes! Welcome to A Car Is Reborn. Come on inside. I'm going to be restoring my own E-Type Jaguar, and here she is, my baby. She's a 1965 Mark I 4.2 litre roadster, and she's absolutely gorgeous, although I have to say a bit tatty at the moment. I look forward to scrubbing her up a bit. Now, restoring an E-Type Jaguar can be quite a complicated business, particularly the metalwork, because it's a monocoque tub, and that really needs specialist work. So I blagged some space at Southern Classics here just outside Woking, so that when I do get stuck, I can get that specialist help I need. Now, I've got her up on the ramps because I want to show you a few of the problems I found underneath. Down this end, let me just show you what I found. A few things around here. First is up here, there's been some obvious welding to the bonnet frame here, which might suggest there's been some accident damage, and also could be a reason why the bonnet itself is actually in very good nick, fairly new. Moving on inside, we've got some new bits here that have been put on by somebody. They're not original parts. There's also evidence up here on the engine frame of a light blue metallic paint, which is just like the Jag over in the corner there. So that isn't original, that's been changed at some point. There's also evidence just back here on the bulkhead of some creases in the bulkhead. Now that is very suggestive of accident damage, but nothing too serious. Basically not too bad. The body itself is pretty solid all the way through. This is good news. It's a fairly new stainless steel exhaust, which is fantastic. This is the rear suspension cage. Now on E-Types it comes out in one big lump when you take it out, and there is evidence of damage to the cage here. This is all split there, and it's all broken and bent up this end. But quite good news, there's relatively new shock absorbers on both sides, which is fantastic. As far as the boot here is concerned, some of the paint's coming off, but you can hear it's basically pretty solid. So we reckon this is a good car to rebuild because it's complete. We've got all the parts from the original car. We've got a lot of problems in terms of rust and things, but I've got to strip it down first, and then we'll really see what this car's made of. First job, get it on the ground. I'm going to take the bonnet off. Do join me down here now. Just because it's you, and I want you to be able to see exactly what's going on. We've got two cameras, one up there, the big one, and dodgy director cam down here with Pete, mate. First job is to take off these big bonnet springs, both sides, which is a relatively simple job, just a couple of nuts and bolts. And it's amazing actually the whole weight of this bonnet, which is quite enormous, is held on by two big bolts down the bottom here, which we'll take off in a minute, and basically these very small nuts and bolts with the springs. Hello.
Got it.
Got it? One. Right. That's off. See, it'll go like that?
Yeah.
It might rest on the floor. Is that resting on the floor?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's good.
Now I've got those two springs off, I've got two big bolts to take out. They screw straight into this tubing section here, and they've got like top hats on them, which are driven in there through bushes as well, so I'm going to have to drive those out. Those are the only two bolts remaining that actually hold this bonnet on. And the one last thing before it comes off is there's one plug here, which we can actually take off now, which is basically all the electrics for the bonnet. So for the lights, the indicators, is just one plug like that, which I reckon is pretty high tech for 1965. Now hang on a minute, hold on. I'm in a professional garage. This is the beast for using sockets, an air-powered spanner. I've always wanted to use one of these. Whack that on there, just look at it. Pete, can you give us a hand just to support this? Right, that's one top hat out. she sat. Next, doors off, bonnet off.
No, we've done the bonnet.
Well, let's take the boot off then. As this strip down continues, I'm going to find lots of areas like this, and it won't be until this whole tub's blasted that we'll actually have any idea really how bad this tub is, but all this is filler in here. Oh look, anybody want some gloves? Suit you, Robin.
Oh, thanks.
Be pretty gung-ho with all the soft furnishings because all the upholstery and carpet and everything's being replaced, all the vinyl as well, but all the chrome bits are absolutely essential we keep them in as good condition as possible. I'll tell you what, if you've ever thought of doing this yourself, restoring a classic car, and your wife or your partner gives you hell because they say it's going to cost too much money, for goodness sake, get a grip of your senses and send her back out to work. Right, that's that off. And then this is cunning. I tell you what, if your fuse ever went in an E-Type, it's not an easy thing to change because you have to take a few bits out and then these little thumb screws which are hidden up here, and then it will, ta-da, it's like a secret compartment. Look at that, eh? And on here, fuses, superb. But all this lot's got to come out. Now, as well as showing you the E-Type Jag in detail during this series, we're also going to get you to have a look at all kinds of other fascinating, superb classic cars.
Hi, welcome to Knockhill. I'm Ian Forrest, Operations Manager. Mark's asked me to look at a selection of classic cars and come up with my own personal top 10. And these are
a 1974 Lotus Elan Sprint,
a 1975 MGB GT V8,
a 1965 Singer Chamois, and an immaculate 1978 Triumph Stag,
a 1956 Racing Triumph TR3,
an awesome 1963 Austin Healey 3000 Mark II,
a sensational 1963 Ford Consul Capri,
a magnificent
Mark I 1965 Lotus Cortina,
a 1972 Alfa Romeo GTV 2-litre,
and
a gruesome TVR Griffith 1965 with a racing pedigree.
We'll judge these cars on handling, comfort, speed, looks, and obviously cost. But before we do that, we're going to take this beautiful black V12 E-Type round the circuit with the proud owner, Jimmy Wilson, and we'll be back shortly to let you know how we get on. I've got a cracking job in my hands and I'm really looking forward to it. If the car you're building, Mark, comes anywhere close to this, you're on a winner, mate.